worship. It's got your mom, it's got your aunt, it's got your sisters. They're all entangled up in that. They're all entangled up in that. How did that happen?
Strong delusion.
They are in a stronghold. The strong man has bound them. And until you destroy the stronghold of the strong man, they cannot be released. But if they are Israel, they are prisoners of hope. They are prisoners of expectation. See, before you came to the truth of who you are as a returning Israelite, you were a prisoner, but you were a prisoner of hope. Big difference. It's not bad to be a prisoner. It is terrible to be a prisoner without hope. You and I were prisoners of hope. And then when the fullness of time came, Galatians 4:4, Yahweh sent forth His Son, made of a woman, for those under the Torah, made under the Torah, to release those who were prisoners of hope. The exiles of Israel, the captives of Israel, the assimilated of Israel. What state did Yeshua find us in? A Greco-Roman state. Everyone in this room, He found you. You confessed Yeshua up and down Queens Boulevard. So what? We all had Greco-Roman baggage, didn't we? Everyone in this room. Before your spirit was stirred up and you realized it's not enough to know this stuff, you've got to hate the stuff. You've got to hate even the garments besmirched with the stain of ungodliness and sin. I hate Christmas. I don't hate the people. Until you're stirred up, you're going to treat this lightly. And everybody who doesn't treat it lightly, you're going to see as mean-spirited. Like Stefania. Mean guy. Look at those fangs. Alright? But you got, in order to get stirred up, you got to get revived.
Yeah.
And you got to stay revived. And Yeshua came to make peace between the two. He didn't just make it one new man. Well, I think I'll take some of these and put some of these and put some of these and build a Gentile church and have a high steeple, and I'll have a few of these and a few of those and a few of these and a few of thous and a few of thee, thous, verily, verily, thous, do's, thous, boos, thou. He does all his fishing in 2 ponds. Go ahead and get quiet on me. I'll just stare at you.
Hallelujah.
No comments from the peanut gallery. You is the peanut.
Get some fish.
Yeshua does all his fishing in 2 ponds. Judah and Ephraim. And he pulls those fish out of that pit. You are Israel. When are you going to let the devil stop lying to you? Tomorrow, this evening? When? Tell me. At dinner, breakfast? When are you going to let... Well, brother, I'm just an African American. Let me tell you something, brother. Your roots go past Africa. Your ancestors got to Africa from the Middle East.
Right.
Hallelujah. Right. It says in Zephaniah that the children of Africa are there. They are the children of Sion, but they've moved beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. The children of Jerusalem, Judah, wound up beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. That means in southern, western Africa.
Come on.
Where are the rivers of Ethiopia? Help me out here. Where are they? North, right? North Africa, right?
North Africa.
So the children of Israel went beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. You want roots? Then you've got to go all the way back to Jerusalem, because that's where we come from.
That's right.
That's right. Hallelujah.
All of us. Caucasian, I don't care what your problem is. Even if you have a Caucasian problem. I don't care where you come from. All your roots go back to the Middle East.
That's right.
Baruch Hashem Yahweh. We're prisoners of hope.
Hallelujah.
So in himself, not in yourself, not in Orthodox Judaism, not in Christianity, not in Messianic Judaism, not in Baptist Church, no. In himself, he does all his fishing. Look at the end of verse 15, Ephesians 2:15. From the 2, he makes his shalom and gets his one new man. Where does Yeshua get his prisoners to make one new man? From the 2? Is this hard? Am I going too quick? Do I need to slow down? From the 2, he makes the one new man. Meaning, if he takes 2 kingdoms and makes one new man, well, then what does he call that one new man? Go back to verse 12. He calls them citizens of Israel. At that time, when we're busy fighting each other, right? And when we're busy fighting each other, we were excluded from citizenship. Look at verse 12. Don't look at your neighbor. Look at verse 12. When Judah and Ephraim were busy fighting each other, they were excluded from citizenship. They didn't have their red card. Okay, in the natural, you try to get a green card to become a citizen. In the kingdom, you need a red card. Turn to your neighbor and say, I've got my red card.
I've got my red card.
How do you become Israel? Do I got to convert? Do I got to have a beard? Do I have to have white in the beard? Does my hat have to be big kofwa, black kofwa with fur coming down? Do my payas have to reach my pupik? This is the pupik for all you Ephraimites. Right here. The navel, pupik. No, darling. Here's how you get in. Get a red card. Because he's doing all his fishing in 2 ponds. So Yeshua didn't come to eliminate the Jews and replace them with the New Testament church, glory to God. He came to end the fighting between Jews and non-Jews, Jewish Israel and non-Jewish Israel, and take those 2 Jacobean spirits and make them into one new man called Israel.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
So Hanukkah is all about cleansing both houses and then rededicating a redeemed remnant from both houses and declaring that redeemed, dedicated Hanukkah remnant into the one new man. Turn to your neighbor and say, we are that Hanukkah remnant.
We are the Hanukkah remnant.
We're the Hanukkah remnant. Because we are not just Ephraim and Judah, we're cleansed, forgiven, and saved Ephraim and Judah. People say, well, brother, I don't know, does the Brit Chadashah talk about the 2 houses? Well, let's start in Ephesians 2. It talks about being a citizen in Israel, and it's talking about Yeshua doing his fishing in 2 ponds to make the new man, the one new man, the people of Israel. He does all his fishing in 2 ponds. Now, the church and other organizations would love to put whosoever will, let him come and drink of the water of life freely. Yeah, if you take a text out of context, you can make a pretext. The whosoever will, when they will, Yahweh wills, and their will meets Yahweh's will, and the 2 wills combine, and they become Israel. When you will, whosoever will, and Yahweh wills, when the 2 wills combine, they become Israel.
Yes.
This is real hard to figure out. Look at verse 16. To completely restore to favor, turn to your neighbor and say favor.
Favor.
Both of them, that keeps talking about 2. If the gospel is Jew and Gentile, if the gospel is to all the Gentiles or to all the nations, why does it keep saying that Yeshua is building the commonwealth of Israel by his blood from 2 ponds, 2 kingdoms, 2 nations? He came not to destroy the nation of Israel and replace it with a Gentile church. That's what the pastor teaches. Now I'm going to teach you what Paul taught you. Paul said he has come to take those 2 warring factions of Israel and make shalom between them and end the enmity and the hatred between them.
Hallelujah.
That's how you become a citizen. You got to allow Yeshua, and then you got to stay stirred up. What time we going home? I believe in the 2 houses. I've always believed in the 2 houses. Even before Rabbi Moshe was saved, I believed in the 2 houses. Yeah, that's nice, but my question is, are you stirred up? Because the sons of Greece are out there, and they're ready to bring you back. We just heard a testimony before. They're ready to bring you back. They'll pay your light bill. They'll pay your rent. They'll come on to you with a great dose of love, man. They'll bring you back. I'm at the point now, I don't know if it's more dangerous to be in the world or in some religious systems. I don't know what's better. It's still the same Greco-Roman spirit. But could we make a good case? Is it better to be in the world or is it better to be in some of those systems? Well, I want to be in a place where Yeshua is proclaimed. But still, this is the message. Amen. Look at verse 16. To restore. What's that word? Restore. What is he restoring? The 2. The 2. What 2? Those close, those far off. Judah and Ephraim. Close to Jerusalem, far away from Jerusalem. He's restoring the 2 into one new man. So teaching the 2 houses is not the trick. Teaching the 2 houses is not the purpose. The purpose is so that we become so echad that we are one new man, and now we're saying, where's the battlefield? We know who the enemy is. We know he's coming in a spirit of religion and Shabbat replacement and circumcision forbiddance and Torah, claiming that the Torah was nailed to the cross. So we know what the enemy's saying, but where is the enemy? Because we're ready to do battle. We're ready to wage war. See, Yahweh didn't teach you the two houses so that you can have more head knowledge, for knowledge puffs up, but love edifies.
Hallelujah.
Knowledge puffs up. He didn't trust you with the two-house message to have knowledge. He trusts you to know who the enemy is and to stand against the forces of Greece. I'm sorry, Aunt Matilda, I'm not compromising. I am not compromising. You come and dedicate yourself to Yahweh just like the people of Yehuda and Hanukkah dedicated themselves to Yahweh. I'm not coming to your thing. You come to our thing. Because I can show you in Scripture in John chapter 10 where Yeshua kept Hanukkah. I want you to be his disciple. I don't want to be a disciple of a religious system.
Hallelujah.
If you can show me where Yeshua celebrated Christmas, I certainly will. I have no problem with that. I want to be like Yeshua. I don't want to be right. I want to be more like Yeshua than I want to be right.
Show me.
Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Okay, look at verse 16. To restore to favor both of them to Elohim into one body, the one new man, not two nations anymore, but one new man, one body, through the execution stake, having destroyed the Jews by the cross.
No.
No toe.
Well, the Crusaders believe that. A lot of misguided zealots believe that. What did Yeshua come to destroy? It wasn't the Jews and it wasn't Torah. What a shock. Ephraim, he came to put you in the bow and allow Yahweh to pull that bow back and fire the arrows. You come into the bow as Ephraim, but you exit the bow as the power of Yahweh. You enter the bow as an Ephraimite. But when Yahweh bends the bow and Judah fuels that arrow, what fuels it? Judah, the Torah, the truth, the Tanakh, fires that arrow goes forth with the shofar of Yahweh, Zechariah 9:11 through 13, to do what? To do what?
War
To
on the sun.
destroy the sons of Greece. The Christians are not your enemy. You get that? You understand what I'm saying? The Christians are not your enemy. The Jews are not your enemy. It is the Greco-Roman spirit that gave rise to Nimrod, the Chaldean spirit, that tried to snuff out Abraham's faith before Abraham was called, Genesis 12:1, out of Ur of the Chaldees. All those places were all based in Iraq. Did you know that? Babylon was Iraq. The Chaldees, Ur of the Chaldees. Assyria is part of greater Iraq. All those pagan Greco-Roman forces, Antiochus Epiphanes, that defiled the set-apart temple on Mount Moriah, which was cleansed and dedicated back to Yahweh on the 25th day of the 9th month, which is why we celebrate Hanukkah. Assyria, that took the 10 tribes of Ephraim, Israel, captive, was based today. Nineveh is in modern Iraq. Did you know that? Nineveh, the former capital of Assyria, is based in modern-day Iraq. Mesopotamia, which means between two rivers, Mesopotamia, between the Tigris and the Euphrates, the Garden of Eden was in Iraq, in modern Iraq. So all these evil influences, the man fell in Iraq, the Garden of Eden, and all these influences proceed from Iraq to the sons of Zion. Assyria took Ephraim, coming from the modern territory of Iraq. Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar, came to take Judah captive from the modern territory of Iraq. Getting quiet now.
Amen.
The Garden of Eden was in Iraq. Make us a very tad lower on hell. Let's monitor it. A very tad, not too much. Don't move your finger, because if you did it too much. Don't move. They're very, very pequeña. I see. Okay, Tov. So, this is the spirit that has fueled this battle. The sons of Zion versus the sons of Greece. You understand what I'm saying? The sons of Greece come through any religion that's not Torah-based. The spirit of Greece comes through any religion that's not based on the Torah. The Torah is not a book of do's and don'ts. It is your straight and narrow path so you know how to walk in the Ruach. You can't say I'm walking in the Ruach when you have no guidebook or measuring stick to check if you're in the Ruach. The Torah is a guidebook. It's a guideline to say what I did. Is that in the Torah or is it forbidden by the Torah? And now you know if you're walking in the Spirit. Walking in the Spirit and not walking in the Spirit is not necessarily going okay, that is a manifestation of a gift of the Ruach. It is not walking in the Ruach. It is a manifestation of a particular gift of the Ruach. The only way you're ever going to know if you're walking in the Ruach is to check with the Torah. The Brit Hadashah doesn't tell you, do this, don't do this. You need the Torah to find out if you are walking or not walking in the Ruach. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. So look at verse 16, Ephesians 2:16. To completely restore to favor both of them, both houses, to Elohim in one body. Not two, one body. Having come, verse 17, he brought good news, Besarot, Shalom to you who are far off, Ephraim, peace to those who are near, because through him we both, with both. Does it say Jews and Gentiles? No, it says what? Those near, those far, Judah and Ephraim. What both? Both houses of Israel. Who hated each other so much, they couldn't stand against the forces of paganism, Greco-Roman lies. With me? Judah cannot stand against these lies alone, these false religions. Ephraim cannot stand against these false religions alone. We need each other. Ephraim is the arrow, and Yehudah is the bow, and Yahweh bends the bow and sends us forth as lightning. But in order to really be used by Yahweh to make one new man, to form one new man, to bring about the restoration and the fullness of favor found in the one new man, you've got to be stirred up against the sons of Greece. And some of us take this thing too lightly because we've been in it too long. We've been in the Miami Beach Israel revival 5 years. The two-house message is no big deal anymore. We've heard it before. Because let me tell you something. It's the only message that can keep you stirred up against all that tugging and that pulling that's coming against you to compromise. And boy, is it pull. And boy, does it tug. Verse 18, through him, Mashiach, we both have access to Abba through one Ruach. Verse 19, so then you are no longer strangers needing a green card. You are no longer foreigners needing a temporary visa. You are fellow citizens in the set apart, with the set apart ones, members of the household of Israel, Elohim. You are citizens of Israel. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. That's the introduction to today's message. Go back to Zechariah. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Zechariah. Zechariah, chapter 4. Let's go to Zechariah, chapter 4. Now I'm going to try to make this short because I have 10 pages, and we just don't have the time. Today's message, one menorah, one new man. Now I told you how Yahweh gets the one new man. He goes fishing in how many ponds? 2 existing ponds. If it's Jew and Gentile, and if what you were taught was right, that the body of Yeshua is composed of Jews and Gentiles, you know what it would say? You know what it would say? It would say the one, Jews, and them, the Gentiles. It doesn't say Gentile. It says 2, what? 2 bodies, 2 peoples. From the 2 he makes one new man. Turn your neighbor and say, one new man.
One new man.
But wait a second. We've got some Ephraimites here. And if I don't educate you and teach you, you're going to think Hanukkah, maybe, perhaps, or maybe not you, someone in our vast audience around the world are going to think that Hanukkah is like the Jewish Christmas. Now, if you were here earlier, I've already told you. I already told you that it's not the Jewish Christmas. It is the rededication of Yahwistic worship as Zion's sons are stirred up against the sons of Antiochus Epiphanes and the sons of Greece. We covered that. So now we know how Yahweh gets this body of Yeshua. He goes fishing in how many ponds? And from the twain, he ends the enmity. He makes shalom by the blood of the covenant. He sends forth the prisoners of hope that are in the pit, but they're still prisoners of hope. He doesn't put together a church, a new Israel, to replace them Jews who killed Christ, and then the old Israel. And so, in other words, Yahweh can walk and chew gum at the same time. He could love Jews and non-Jews without getting rid of the other ones. So rather than what the church teaches, replacement theology, the Bible teaches the principle of stacking. Yahweh never negates a greater revelation to establish a former revelation to establish a greater revelation. He establishes the greater revelation on top of the revealed former revelation that may in fact be a lesser revelation, but he can walk and chew gum at the same time. He doesn't negate the prior revelation as Christianity teaches. The New Testament replaced the Old. The Christians replaced the Jews. The Gentiles replaced the Jews. Christ replaced Moses. No. What the Bible does, it stacks the covenant and builds the building fitly framed together into the temple of Yahweh.
Hallelujah.
He builds the Noahic on top of the Edenic. He builds the Davidic on top of the Noahic. He stacks his covenants. He never replaces the second floor to build the third floor. Remember that principle and you'll be a Bible scholar instantly. Stacking. How can we explain all this tension between Jews and Christians, between the church and the synagogue, between the first and the second covenant? Through the principle of stacking. Remember that, if you remember nothing else. Yahweh stacks his revelations. He never negates a prior to establish a newer. Make sense? But today is Hanukkah. Now go to Zechariah. Some of us are new to this two houses.